Hi, hello everyone. This is Azara and this is a new episode of our podcast, La Revoltosa. In today's episode, we will see what we were doing yesterday at Jack's class. Yesterday was Thursday, 3rd of March, my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. So yesterday at his class, we started, as we have been doing in the past classes, with games. So games that are very good for actors, that help you with concentration, with engagement with your fellow classmates and actors, with focus, with connection with your other people around you. And so one of the games, I'm not sure if it's called the President and the Bodyguard, but how it goes is with a foam ball. People, there's several people in the room. There's one president and bodyguard has to protect the president. The people around have to kill the president, and they do so throwing the foam ball. So if the ball touches the president dies. So then the bodyguard becomes the president and the assassin becomes the bodyguard. So, and if the bodyguard gets the ball, he can kill or she can kill the assassins. So it's quite fun. It requires a lot of concentration and communication with your fellow classmates and actors. And I think we really enjoy that game in general in our class. Then we were doing another game with clapping. So you pass the clap, and then Jack was just making this exercise a bit more complicated. So you clap in and you send in the clap to one person, the person next to you. So the clap goes in one way. If you wanted to stop the clap, then you just bring in your arms up, and you were doing you were saying a phrase like, "Oh, it doesn't pass over here." I don't remember the phrase, but the gesture is like bringing up your arms with your fists on position, and you say this phrase. So that means the clap is not passing over, and then you have to pass the clap to the other side. So if the clap is going through the other side, then you could pass it across to somebody else. So you were passing the clap, saying, I don't remember the phrases. Like, it's just funny because you are so concentrated and you're saying all the phrases, and I was like, all the phrases, like, oh, I don't remember. I remember when you were receiving the clap, you were saying, "I'm not your mother." So how that was acknowledging everyone that you were getting the clap and then you were passing the clap. So it's very funny because he was saying lots of phrases that he said, if you are from the UK, probably you understand some of them, because I guess they are related to something famous. I don't know if EastEnders or something that they were saying in some TV series, like very popular here, so people could understand them, these phrases when you were saying them. Anyway, it was a very nice game. And then after our break, so we were focusing on creating stories. So Jack just disposed around the class different sets of post-its with some notes on it, and then we have, like, I think 6 in one side, 6 on the other side. Then there were 2 groups of different post-its, and then post-its. Oh gosh, gosh, my tongue today doesn't want to go out of my mouth properly. So we had that. So we're going back, and then we were having a group that had some part of texts there. So you have to flip a coin. Yes, and we have 5 coins. So you have to flip the coin, and then either you were getting a head or the other side, you were starting from one side to the other of these groups of post-its. And you had the dates in each side. So you had to roll the dice, and then if you were getting 5, so you were going to the group number 5, and you were getting 1 post-it from it, and then you were going to the other side, getting another one, plus getting the extra one that you were getting if you were getting, when you flip the coin, it was head or it was the other side. So then at the end, you end up with three different papers, and then you were putting the story down on the floor, and then you were doing the same, starting from the other side of the room. So you picked up 2 stories, and then you were rolling the dice again, and you were picking up one of these stories. So Jack was then numerating these stories, and then you were getting one of those ones. And then, so you would have random things like, for instance, the first one I got was The Rebel, Cooking a Dinner, and Water. And the second one I got was Voyage and Return, Concrete, Physical Education. So then we have to pick up a note from the back. So I got this one, which is everyone you love is not who they seem. So I got this one, and then Jack was playing music, and we had to write wherever it came to our heads with these words that we had. And so you had to stop it, the music stopped. So I brought something like, I don't really know if it makes sense, but the point was like just writing without thinking. So I wrote, everyone you love is not who they seem. You have the rebel, the one that always go away and it's difficult to understand. You have the caring one, the one that cooks you dinner, the one that, and that's it. I didn't have more time to write anything because it was very quick. So then we did the exercise again, and then again, we had to write something. So on my notes, this time I got, it was all a dream. We have all this big paper with our notes, and this time we had a bit more time. So the music was different rhythm, and then it was like longer. So I think I wrote like something like sleep, becalmed, suffered with the crown, in the throat burning like butter. Oh, that was part of the test. This time I got the test. So I wrote, it was all a dream. The stage told me the tragedy was melting on my skin like butter. Sleep, becalmed, suffer with the mood. Mats jumping in and out from the political killer, bringing joy to your heart of steel, and the clouds covered the space. I was free and joyful, feeling the sense of calmness in my joints, free and ugly like the crowd that sat in your balcony waiting for your return. Nonsense. And then we did it a third time, and again, this third time, we were doing it with the music, and the music was a bit longer. With the third story that we did, then Jack told us to do what we have been doing in the past days. So you can see, if you've seen the video, you can see it. This paper, if not, I will just say it. So we divide again our paper, one side is order, another side is cows, and in the order we have you, need, go, search. In the cows we have find, take, return, and change. So these are the steps that our hero is taking in the journey of the story, like how we build the story. So I based my story in the last story I wrote about on the previous exercise. So I was like, she, the warrior, is you, need, she wants to save the villagers, go, she goes to her death and back, search, she looks for the words given by the father, find, she finds his father's last given words to her, take, she has to die and return, she returns as the savior, and change, she then knew she had to protect the village and its people. So the words I got were history, fire, the warrior, rags to riches, wind, and irony. And my last post-it was, she died but came back. So I had to work to play with this. So that's what I came across with the story. And then I had this last day. So there was something new. So we were implementing social media in the story. So I got TikTok 30 seconds video. So how I put that into my story. So you, the warrior, was a TikTok from Bikini Island. And I call her She Woman. Now, those around my age understand why I call her She Woman. Those younger, I don't think so. When I was a child, there was a cartoon I loved, and he was called He-Man. Na 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 na. So it's just, I thought She Woman, just remember me that. So that's for He-Man. And then, okay, the take, so she's a TikToker from Bikini, and then the take is she has to die. So I transform that into, she stops being popular in TikTok and everyone forgets about her. She's missing and losing followers. And then the return, which it was, she returns as the savior after she dies. So the return was, she did a 30 minutes video in TikTok telling how she felt after leaving TikTok and what life was without social media apps. So my story changed completely because at the end of the day, so when I implemented the TikTok in the story, it changed to a story that is giving an example. It can be a metaphor or something that you can learn from. And it's how is life without social media, and how was life before having any social media apps. And you know, like with all these social media apps, we have I can see in the new generation, but we somehow have not forgotten, because they don't know how it was before, but it's like we certainly spend a lot of time in either social media or online, and we used to be more face-to-face before internet and all this. So it's just an idea, it's just a metaphor, a reminder, like, you know, be off screen is much better. So that was my story. And so for the next semester, we have to prepare a project that is going to be individual, and it can be either be a play or it can be a short. So you decide the format. So Jack was saying to us, like, knowing now how to develop a story, so we could either choose one of the stories that we have been doing during the class, during the past classes, and we have been developing, or like something new. So I decided to do something new. And my story is about, so I was basing myself, I was thinking about the stereotypes that we saw in the previous week. So my hero is innocent, is the innocent. That's the character, the main character. And so it's a child from a big city, any child from a big city. And then what he needs is a family order, and where he goes, the goal is like he goes into the world of video games, looking for connection, and such is a place where he belongs to. Fine is he finds a friend that is always calling him for playing, and who makes him feel important and acknowledges how good he is at the game. The take is the distance that he's taking from his family. He's starting losing the connection with his family. The return is like his grandfather is helping him to understand that life should not be only be the video games. And the change is like the child understands that regardless how imperfect his family is based in love, and love is the most important thing in this world. And so he goes back to his family. And so that was my story. And I'm going to show you 2 pages straight away. And this was like in a very short time. I was really inspired, like certainly Jack classes, very, very inspiring. So I guess because I've been exposed to plays of Federico Garcia Lorca, which is he's a writer and poet from Spain who died. Oh, I would say he was killed. He didn't die during the Civil War in Spain. Mostly because he was gay and his political ideology was left-wing. And I studied his theater and his poetry when I was in Spain, when I was in high school. And I mean, he's one of the best in the world. So they're very, very strong pieces what he created, and he portrays particularly the south of Spain and the relationships at that in that period, in that part of Spain. So somehow he came into my mind while I was writing this, not straight away, but yes, some of his, I guess, a way of narrating stories came, like I was kind of inspired by him while I was writing this without even acknowledging it. So naturally it just came like I'm preparing something that's gonna be a play. And then there's a narrator, and he's just telling, he's always like in talking in third person, talking about the child, what the child does, and how that change in behavior affects his mother, and how his mother is changing as well in her behavior because his change of behavior, and the dynamic that is creating in the house because that change. Now, and I haven't said it at the beginning, this is based, so my story is based on how the pandemic has affected children. So I'm particularly thinking of an age that is end of school, beginning to high school. So you have all these changes that naturally happen in your body because you're growing, plus going from primary school to secondary school, and how these last 2 years of your life of being a child have been completely abnormal, and how during this time many kids started to play a lot online, and particularly to a game that is called Fortnite, which is not recommended for kids under, I don't know if it's 15 or 16. However, many kids under that age they were playing this game. So that's what my play, or like my story, is based on, and how the child changes, like from being a loving, nurturing, caring child, becoming somebody who's like what I wrote, for instance, like I was writing, like the mother doesn't understand his language, the language that he speaks, like, get him, I got these kids, I'm going to kill them, get this kid. It's like being very imperative and talking, like using this language so aggressive, like kill them. It's like, oh, shout, shoot, which is scary, I guess, in a way. Like to hear your child saying those things. And then how his temper changes, and like he can be a very short temper and screaming and doing things that he was not doing before, and how that change of his behavior affects in his mother. I'm talking about one parent household, so a single parent with a child, and how as a parent, so it's like the parents, in this case is a mother of the story, like how she's working and how she's trying to provide for the family, and having like very long shifts and being very tired from work, and then coming back home, and then finding these situations, finding the child disrespecting her and insulting her and screaming when she's trying to say to the child to do something that he needs to do. But then at the same time, the child is back of being the loving child that he was before. So it's confusing the mom, like the mom is not understanding what is happening to his child. So I think there's just situations, like I think the topic is very deep. It's not happy for sure, but I feel it portrays the reality that is happening now. And we still have few years for them to pass to see how really the pandemic has affected children. And then children, and then in this case, like children in single parent houses, like single parenting, and how has that affected them and has affected the parents. So I guess it's a big research, and I guess it's not gonna get a lot of positive notes. But yeah, I think that's something that is happening. And then, so I wanted to write about this, and so I'm not sure how it's gonna be. It's like I have this idea of like the narrator is just telling about what is happening. So then sometimes it will come like it's the child, sometimes it would come that is the mother. And then when I'm saying about Federico Garcia Lorca, is like at some point it's like in his place, you would say, like on his poetry, you have these moments of like singing, out. It was like the despair is singing, or is metaphorically this singing, talking about what is happening. So I wrote something like it was, oh child of the moon, child of the desire, don't talk like that to your mom. She cries tears of sorrow and pain. So I started thinking how it's gonna be done, and I want to play with images. So I want to see if I can make some images, because it's gonna be a solo play, one person play. So I want to see if I can record myself doing the course, multiply it, and then like it comes up when that's the moment. I'm thinking I'm being inspired as well by Spanish band from the 80s and 90s called Mecano. They have the song called Hijo de la Luna, and the song is like child of the moon, that's what it means. And so it's a bit poetic in the way how it goes. So it's like she goes, I'm not that great at singing, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go for it. So it's something like that. La luna quiere ser madre y no tiene el que le haga mujer. Hijo de la luna, pam, 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 pam. So it goes a bit like this. So my idea is like to bring it into this type of music. So with this melody, it's like I want to have that type of melody, that type of vibe. And I'm already thinking as well about the costume. So long black skirt, like black jacket, all black, black scarf on the head, and like flat shoes, maybe barefoot. I still have not decided. And then Jack was giving me this idea of like perhaps using some masks around and some gloves, hand sanitizer. So it's like it just represents the pandemic. I know I want to play a lot with light. Like I want it to be very dark and having like a spotlight and a diffuse light around. Like, yeah. So it's a big thing. So that was the idea I got yesterday, and now it's like creating it, doing it. And yeah, that's where I am. So Jack was saying to me for next class, so something how to develop this story to make it more interesting. So he said, okay, that's the provocation I'm giving you, like to make it more interesting. The worst make it worse, to push the situation. So he said maybe his grandfather died from COVID. So I didn't go, when I was explaining to Jack, I didn't go deep down to the story. So I didn't go like how it's affecting the mom, what the child is doing. But yeah, so I'm gonna work on that as well, like making it really bad, the story, and see where we go. So this was all from yesterday's class. I'm very excited to start writing this story and developing it and seeing like how I'm going to represent it. I feel it can be something really nice if I manage to do what my head is thinking, like, because I have clearly the idea of how I want it to be and to look. And now it's just a matter of being able to achieve that. But I'm very, very excited. So thank you so much for today, and I will see you in our next episode. Thank you. Bye.